Welcome. For this English 2010 video, we want to talk about the revision process and also demonstrate how to schedule a tutoring appointment. Now, last week, we talked about feedback and the importance of getting feedback on our writing. This week, we want to more specifically and in more detail talk about revision. Revision's related to the word review, which means to look over again. And revision can mean to look over again, but most English speakers use revision to mean making changes to a paper based on reviewing. There are maybe two ways of thinking about revision that could be helpful for you. And these use two linguistic terms, macro language and micro language. Let's talk about macro language first. Macro language revision is looking at the big things. That's what macro means. So we're looking at, does the assignment match what the teacher is expecting? Do you have good examples? Are your ideas clear? Have you organized your information well? And do you have good connections or transitions between your paragraphs and between your sentences? And if it's a research paper, do you have relevant and respectable sources to support your writing? So that's macro level revision. Micro level revision is more at the sentence or the word level, whereas macro language revision is at the paragraph or the whole paper level. So in contrast to that, the micro revision is really looking at small things. One of those things might be looking at your formatting. Do you have page numbers? Is your name on the page? Have you indented your paragraphs? Do you have the correct line spacing? Are you following MLA format? It might also look at, do you have any spelling errors? Okay, sometimes we call those typos in English because you accidentally typed the wrong letter. It also looks at grammatical issues. So do you have any run-on sentences that need to be fixed? Do you have any sentences where you've used the wrong form of a verb? Do you have good, clear vocabulary that your audience will understand so that your ideas can be understood? And have you punctuated? Are you using periods and commas and other punctuation marks correctly? So we have these two ways of looking at revision. Sometimes it is easy to just focus on the micro language revision, but that's actually not the best in order to get good writing. We need to start with the macro level revision. We need to make sure we've got the right ideas. Need to make sure that we're responding to the prompt or the topic that we have been assigned. And we need to make sure we've got good information and that it's organized well. After we have verified those things and discussed them and maybe made changes to those, then we can do the micro language revision. If we start with micro language revision, we might spend a lot of time and effort wasted because we may be trying to fix sentences that aren't even about the right topic or that don't have the right kinds of information that we need. So when you visit with the tutor, always first focus on macro language. Do you have the right ideas? Are they organized well? Is your essay clear and well understood? Then you can work at fixing minor things like the formatting and spelling and grammar and punctuation. So after you visit with the tutor, it is important, like I mentioned last week, to make a plan to revise. How are you going to improve your paper? What steps do you need to take when you leave that tutoring appointment to implement or use that feedback effectively? And that's one of the most important parts and one of the best learning parts of the tutor visit is that you're now making some plans to become a better writer, not just make a better paper, but become a better person who can write future papers better. So you need to think about what you've learned from that experience, make your plan, and then use your plan. Let's talk a little bit more about the Southern Utah University Writing Center. Last time I mentioned that there's two main kinds of appointments that you'll want to make. Either a synchronous appointment, which is a live session over Zoom. You and the tutor will meet together and you can talk to one another and you can look at your paper together. The other option is written feedback. We might call this synchronous or an email exchange. And you would send your paper to the tutor ahead of time, and then the tutor will send you back feedback through your email, and you never meet at the same time. You don't talk to each other. So let's go ahead and look at the Writing Center website. So here's the website that you'll use to make your appointment. And the appointment lists 3 types of appointments: an in-person session, a live Zoom session, or a written feedback session. Obviously, the in-person session is not available to students who don't live in Cedar City. So they would be looking at making either a live Zoom session appointment or a written feedback session. And you can do those during the week, Monday through Friday. If you want to do a Saturday session, then you would book either a Zoom session on Saturday or a written feedback session on Saturday. There are 2 different times that are available: a 30-minute session or a 1-hour-long session. Because we're writing a smaller paper first, a 30-minute session should be good. Afterwards, if you feel like you still want more feedback, you could make a second appointment if you like. But for our first paper, a 30-minute session should be good. So let's say that we decided we wanted to do a live Zoom session, not on a Saturday, but maybe during the week. So we can click on this button to book our 30-minute Zoom session. It'll ask you to choose which day you would like in the calendar. Okay, if you want to do it in a different month, then you would choose the day there. I recommend that you book your appointment for the week that your assignment is due. So if we chose this day, we can see all of the times that are available. These are all evening times. You need to keep in mind that these times will probably display Utah time, even if you live in a different time zone. So be careful and keep that in mind so that you and the tutor will meet at the correct time. You should get an email confirming the time at the end, and you might want to send a message back to the tutor saying, it looks like our appointment is at this time, Utah time, and for me, that is this time, my time. Is that correct? And you and the tutor can make sure that you've got the right time. So if I were to choose this time, I can continue. It'll ask me for my name, my phone number, which you don't have to provide. You can just put in some numbers there. 888-8888 is fine. Okay, you can put in your email address. Okay, I recommend you use your SUU one, but use one that you check regularly. That's the best idea. Your T number. It'll ask you what year in school you are. And this is a little bit confusing because it uses some American words. Freshman means first year. Sophomore means second year. Junior is third year, and senior is fourth year. It's okay to choose sophomore. Most English 2010 students are in their second year of study, so it's okay to choose that one. But if not, freshman is fine too. Then it'll ask you what you want to work on today, and you could write the name of the assignment. You want to work on your personal essay. It'll ask you for their course number, and you can just write what's exactly there, English 2010. Okay, it'll ask for your professor's name. Okay, you can put down my name. You can put Professor Rob McCollum if you like. Okay, and is this a group session? No, you'll meet with the tutor on your own. So you would select no, and then you would continue on. Okay, when you have finished the process, then you are ready to submit your form, and you should get a confirmation email. Okay, generally, with whether you do a Zoom session or you do a written feedback session, they often like you to submit your paper ahead of time. So make sure you've got a draft that you can share with your tutor so your tutor can look at your paper before the session. If you have any questions or problems with the tutoring process, please let me know. When you are finished at the end of the week, there is a form that you will complete on Canvas for our English 2010 class, and that form will allow you to report on your tutoring session and reflect on that experience. I look forward to hearing how your sessions went. Good luck.